Steve, what's your fondest grand final victory?
Oh, I think certainly the first one, the 96-97.
Yep.
Lee, it was, as I said before, it was it was coming first year into the club, and it was, and I must admit there was no pressure. It was fine. I mean, Dick and the committee and that were fantastic. It was about trying to rebuild and getting the club back playing that, that aggressive, competitive cricket. But I was able to mould the team very quickly. So that particular year, semi-final and group final or premiership game, we defended 170. And then in the championship game, we were chasing 278. And, Gamini Pereira and Runga de Silva were just incredible. I mean, we all say it, everyone that was a witness of that game, that 151. This was after the guy got home when the sun was rising too, I might add. So, as I found out later, just a phenomenal partnership. But that was the cream on what happened through the year. And I think everyone contributed through the year. Steve Harvey, Jeff King at the top of the order, Daisy, of course, when he could remember what was going on. Bowling, we had Chip, Tim Jessel came in. We had the two
Stewie
guys.
Henson?
No, Stewie wasn't there the first year.
Yep.
And we just had moulded a really good competitive team. And I heard Ronnie talk about it before, for the when Killer started off, leading into the 90s, early 90s for Hobbs to take over. The same sort of thing happened. We just had a team that we sort of, if you made 150, we'd pass them. If we made 150, we'd defend them. And that's the way it panned out. You just get that, I suppose it's confidence, but it's also trust. And I think we've had a lot of trust in each other as a group, considering there was 5 or 6 new players into that side that year. And then from that, Lee, it contributed. It went on to the next year, premiers. Next year, got beaten in the semi. Then Hobbs came in. We won the championship. So it was just like, I don't know. As people have said, it's just an amazing decade of cricket for a cricket club, and I think we're all blessed actually to be part of it.
Yeah. Well said. Scotty, being a wicket keeper, you saw every ball bowled across, how many championships was it again?
Oh, three.
3?
Yeah, and a losing one.
And a losing one.
Or a losing final.
What was the best bowling performance you saw?
Oh, God, you put me on the spot there. Yeah, that's bloody hard. The club's been blessed. I think, the collective group of the bowlers, right through, it was never easy to break into the ones to begin with, regardless of whether you're batting, bowling or keeping. But, we were very lucky to have quality bowlers, and they just shared the burden. So I think, you see it through the interviews from the guys that are on the club who were fortunate enough back when the likes of Eddie and so forth were in their prime. I was lucky enough to play a number of years with Eddie towards the end of his career, and he still knew how to make the ball talk. But you look, Chipper obviously, and we had pace bowlers. We had, Up and Adam and Barley are here tonight. We had Ross Lawler, Stewie Densley later in the piece, various others contributing. But I guess as a wicket keeper, selfishly, I used to love the spinners because you'd just be licking your lips when they came on, and Gamini in particular. I mean, Ron as well used to bowl a really good arm ball. Not many people would recognise that, Ron, but you did have a really good arm ball, and I could pick it. The batsman couldn't. And as soon as I would see the delivery coming, certainly from our quality spinners, I knew I'd have a stumping as soon as I left the hand, and you'd just be licking your chops. And I think a couple of seasons there, I probably had, a ratio of 2 to 1 catches to stumpings, which is pretty decent. Yeah. So, but I wouldn't have had that result without the quality of the spinners. So, and again, that is testament to our mix of our bowling combination. But I think over the journey, and it was come through in Dale's interview on the website or the Facebook page. He was just a Trojan. Like, literally, your description of him as a workhorse was terrific because, yeah, Ravi, of course, international cricketer, do what he did, and a lot of chips, wickets may have come from Ravi, but having Ravi come to the club when he did also just acted as a catalyst because it made you walk 2 feet taller. You walk into the rooms, you've got an international cricketer who's just arrived. And it was in that era where we started to bring people from overseas into the club, and it just made a hell of a difference. It just separated us from the pack. And, and if we felt like that, imagine how the opposition felt. They were intimidated, big time. So they just didn't really know how to combat that. And of course, Ravi didn't really bend his back all the time. I kept him for about 7 years, which was really a lot of fun. But occasionally he would bend his back to the international standard, and you could see it straight away. Yeah, so really fond memories. Yeah.
As the coach, it must have been wonderful going into, and the captain going into games, just knowing when you're under pressure you're going to perform. Who did you admire most as an individual with the pressure, responding to it?
Well, that's a very good question. You could always rely on Gamini Pereira, I would think. No matter what the situation with bat or ball, Gamini was probably over the journey, was probably the most consistent in answering that question. Look, it's a tough question because each one of the guys that I played with, from the 96, 97 right through to the end, there was a numerous number of guys that responded when pressure was on. And you mentioned Shane Baker before. Well, Shane came through the ranks, and he was an underrated player in my view. I mean, a lot of people, he was just a guy that it was like he sort of replaced Chip. Actually, he became like a bit of a workhorse, and was the guy that you could throw the ball to. So, tough question, Lee. But look, I'm just thankful that every person I played with. I can count on as being a mate now for the rest of life, so, yeah.
What was the best hand you saw when you were out there batting?
I was out there batting, I can't answer that, but the best hand I saw was Gamini, 150 in a championship final.
I saw Shane Day play a couple of good hands too.
No, nothing on that 150, we were gone. We were chasing 270, 260.
278.
278, that's unbelievable. We were 3 for 50.
58.
Yeah. Fuck, my memory's not that bad.
22 overs we had left to go.
Yeah, and we were gone. And Gamini and Runga took the game away from him. But easily, 150 from Gamini, easily the best.
Yeah, it was.
Brought up his 100 with a 6.
Yeah, exactly. And not only brought up with a 6, he was on 144, was getting racially slurred from the keeper, turned around as the bowler was coming in, told him to F off, and then hit him down the ground for 6.
He did.
So, without question, that is the greatest hand I've ever seen. Yeah, no doubt. Although I made a pretty good 300 in the backyard once, but let's not talk about it. I mean, yeah.
Very good. Would anyone like to ask a question?
How long did you take as an electrician
Yeah.
before you got rid of that ponytail?
When I realised that, see, I'm a heavy metal fan, so you have long hair as a metal fan, but it looks better on certain blokes, and it took me a hell of a long time to realise that, it looks shit house on me. So I think I was 38, and I eventually cut it off. Yeah. So I always look back, and I would have been a better cricketer with short hair, but mind you, I couldn't have been worse. But yeah. So So there you go.
Lee, not a question. Daisy being built very self-deprecating up there, but I think it's worthwhile mentioning that Daisy and Gam were part of the first team of the year for the sub-district in 99-2000. So as much as Daisy's telling us that his innings were, Well, we can't remember half of the barrel because our alcohol fuel covered, but I think it's worthwhile acknowledging that Daisy is probably one of the best batsmen at Preston in the last 20 years. Just getting into that team's tough enough, and especially in that year when they picked up the championship. So I think it's worth acknowledging that with Daisy.
Thanks, mate. It's worth remembering too, either side of the millennium, I got two of them, so. But anyway, let's not talk about it. It's done and dusted.
Daisy, we're talking 99-2000.
Oh, okay, that year,
90s,
yeah.
And you're in the first team of the year, so
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and yes, you did get two of them.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Anyone got a question? Yeah.
Did you happen to buy a bat off Molly?
Yes.
And what happened to it?
Ivanhoe.
Played yourself in before.
It was a beautiful Slazenger. I think it might be a V12 or a V100. I think McCarthy might have given it to you. From,
It did. Bandit gave it to you.
yeah, beautiful bat.
Yeah, made good money on that.
Yeah. So I got it rather cheap, and I watched two blokes put on 200 for no wicket, and I went out there and got run out trying to get an impossible second for 0. And so I just walked around the back of the pavilion and put it right into the corner of some brickwork, and that's one of my biggest regrets because that was a beautiful bat. But that's one of 12 I would have smashed in my time.
Easy.
Yeah, so. Look, I couldn't do it these days because apparently bats are worth like a gorilla each. Back then you could buy 5 of them for a gorilla, but these days, yeah, they're like gold.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Scotty Harvey, Steve Malloy, and Shane Dowell.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies.